Welcome to Larry's Library, and it's time for another Sunday Scan where you get to join me on my read through of some single issue comics in my unread bin. And today I read Kobra issue number 6, this one right here. Now, before I get too far into this, I want to tell you where we are on this Kobra roadmap. There are 2 more issues left. This one, issue 7, was the last issue of Kobra. And I don't know how well that reflection is going to do. You might not be able to even see it. And then the storyline concludes in this issue of, let's see, 5-Star Superhero Spectacular from 1977. I don't see an issue number. There probably is one, but it's not on the cover. This one right here. I had to do some digging on eBay to get this one. But yeah, it concludes in this issue. So, only 2 more exciting Sunday Scan episodes of Kobra after this one to conclude my run of Kobra single issues. So, let's talk about this one. Now, one interesting thing I noted right away, well, of course, we have another fantastic cover. Really like it a lot. It's super dynamic. You've got a Godzilla-sized Kobra tearing apart the Golden Gate Bridge in the shot here. Now, he's literally not Godzilla-sized, but that's what he's trying to do in the story, so it's pretty cool. And in the credit box here, it says Nasser and Rubinstein. And I really, yeah, it's good. It's some good stuff. Rubinstein's inks are always a treat as far as I'm concerned, and he goes well with Mike Nasser's pencils. Now, getting into this one, we open up the cover and get the opening page here. It's a pretty cool shot. It's a nice perspective shot. You know, I like those. And it's done pretty well. I mean, there's not a lot to it other than the extreme perspective of the Golden Gate Bridge. But you can see the city in the background and the movement of the rough waters. It's pretty cool. It's actually a nice composition. But the first thing I noticed is in the credit box, they misspell Rubinstein's name. Yeah. Rubinstein spells his name Rubinstein as on the cover, and not as inside where they have it Rubinstein. Now, I knew this was wrong right away, but I double-checked a couple sources, and then I did the ultimate check, and I went over there to my wall, and I looked at my autographed print that Kristen got me by Joe Rubinstein. And indeed, they spelled his name wrong in this credit box. I know, it's just a comic book credit box, shouldn't get so upset, but I think it's important to try to give proper credit to people and at least have decency to learn how to spell their name. I mean, this shows 2 editors plus the letterer, and all 3 of those people got it wrong. Not very respectful. I don't like that. but moving on. It is a pretty cool opening page here. And we see that Martin Pasco is still writing. But now we have the art of Mike Nasser with Joe Rubinstein doing inks. Now, they are a great team. But I don't know if you recall, but in last issue, the last issue of Kobra, issue 5, they went on and on about how finally, and this was in the little editor's box where the letters page goes, or it might have been on the letters page, I'm not sure, but in the back of the book, they went on about how they finally got themselves a regular artist. Rich Buckler was going to be the regular penciler from here on in. He lasted 1 issue. What the heck? They just could not right this boat no matter what they did, it doesn't seem. And then before I get into the story here, I'm gonna flip to the letters page in this one. I won't show a scan of that. I mean, it's just a letters page, but I'm going to read you part of it. The reply to the first letter, it says, where the guy complained about the round robin of artists from issue to issue. And their reply, he says, we're hoping that the Kobra trademark, and that's in quotes, of a new artist every issue has been permanently laid to rest, Adam, as Rich Buckler's second art appearance in this issue will attest. What? It will? Rich Buckler didn't do the art in this issue. I mean, how many monkeys were running this at the time? I mean, how do you credit art? You replied to the guy's letter and said, hey, we got Rich Buckler a second time, and there's no Rich Buckler art in this issue. That's a head scratcher, right? I mean, how do you do that? Man. All right. Nevertheless, not Rich Buckler, but it does have some fantastic art. I was really impressed by the art in this one. And it did come out in 1977, by the way. So, if you recall the last issue we went through, at the end of that, Jason Double, new character, detective, private investigator, was strapped to the Golden Gate Bridge, and we know that Kobra had installed this device that was going to cause an artificial earthquake to tear the bridge apart and kill Kobra at the same time. Not Kobra, sorry, Jason Double. So here we got, we spend several pages here on this fight on the bridge, because Jason Double, of course, was able to get out of those bonds where he was tied to one of the support structures of the bridge, and he gets into a brawl with Kobra right here. And it really is an effective fight. It's pretty cool. It's fun to watch, fun to read here. I will scan both of these pages. And I don't know whether to congratulate Mike Nasser or Joel Rubinstein, I suppose both, but the art is really good. The detail, the cross-hatching, the line work is fantastic. The panel layout is exciting and fun, and it just flows. It's a really awesome display of comic art. You know, I just love comic art, and I love it when it's really good like this. And this is great. I mean, I'll try to show a larger panel, a larger blow up of this panel on page 3. This face, super realistic looking. And the way Rubinstein inks, or the way Nasser drew it, I guess both, you know, all of the little scales in Kobra's armor is just dazzling. It really is. It's just a joy to see work like this. I love it. And it's dynamic too. And you've got his leg crossing across panels on page 3 here. It's great. It's great stuff. I mean, it's just a brawl on a bridge, but it was done really well. And looking at that face, and I'll show the blow up, it really makes you think, because a lot of newer artists, and I guess probably a lot of older artists did this too, but suffer from what a lot of people phrase as same face syndrome. Well, Mike Nasser does not suffer same face syndrome. And a lot of the old great artists did not. Their faces did not look the same. Not even close. And I guess that's the difference between a truly great artist and maybe just a mediocre one, you know. So Jason Double, Johnny Double. I said Jason. Getting my characters confused. Jason Burr is Kobra's brother, twin brother. Johnny Double is the private investigator. Sorry, Johnny. Well, in the brawl here, Kobra, for some reason, manages to lose his bracelet. And that control bracelet gizmo is what allows him to fire these laser blasts. It also allows him to communicate with his minions and to control that ship, the Ark, that very bizarre ship. So what's cool, and I'll try to show a shot of this too, is a scan of this. Jason, man, I really want to call him Jason. Johnny Double manages to grab that bracelet, and he puts it on and quickly figures out how to at least rudimentarily use it, and he blasts the device that's going to cause the earthquake, and he manages to stop the Golden Gate Bridge from being destroyed. So that's pretty cool. And we also now, we being the good guys, Johnny Double and Singh, and eventually Jason Burr, all now have a piece of Kobra tech that they can analyze, and that's pretty cool. This page here is also really well done. I'll scan it, where Kobra is chewing out one of his minions and complaining because they didn't execute some job that he gave them in quickly enough. So he's really reaming this guy out and telling him how there's gonna be punishment for his failure. But that's not the point I want you to see here. The point I want you to see is how great this art is. It's really good. So I will scan that one as well. And like I said, I'll show a scan of this too, where Johnny Double is showing off the bracelet that he managed to retrieve, Kobra's technology. He demonstrates it to Randu Singh, and this professor of electronics that they brought in to examine it. And the last panel on this page is an overhead shot. I imagine this is behind the ceiling fan. Very cinematic and well done. So then there's a lot of back and forth and covert ops they do, and they infiltrate one of Kobra's layers, and they're digging through the computer files. It's pretty cool. And then you see this page here, which I will scan, where it shows how the Ark Kobra ship is essentially cloaked. That's what I would call it, cloaking, like from Star Trek, you know, where it renders itself invisible. They call it the masker, is what he refers to it as. And then in the next page after that, you see some really inventive panel layout. It's quite impressive. And it's basically the shape of the Ark ship. And I'll show a scan of it. Busting up the panels. The panels are all forming that Ark shape, which is pretty neat, pretty cool. Liked it a lot. So basically, Johnny Double is able to use that bracelet to turn off the masker so that the ship is visible. And he even fires on it. And by the last page of this issue, he seems to have destroyed the Ark by repeated laser blasts from that wrist bracelet business he has. And then Randu Singh is actually weeping here on the final page, saying, well, you know, if you killed Kobra, then you've also killed Jason Burr. So we'll see how that pans out. So it ends on a nice cliffhanger. Did he kill Kobra and his twin brother by blowing that ship up? I guess we'll find out in 2 weeks when I do issue 7, where on the cover we see a very alive Jason Burr and Kobra. So I guess he didn't kill it. As if there was doubt. But yeah, I had fun with this one. This was a good one. Much improved. But as we know from, you know, the fact that this series ended an issue later, it was too little too late. They were starting to get a handle on what to do with this character, I think. But they sure couldn't keep a staff. They couldn't keep an artist. They kept the writer. But man, it's still amazing that you got a reply to a letter printed in here bragging about how they got Rich Buckler to do 2 issues in a row. And they didn't. He ain't even in the issue. But anyway, I hope you like taking a look at Kobra issue 6. And next week on the Sunday Scan, I'll be back to Godzilla, which we're coming near the end of that series too. And hope you liked that, and give me a thumbs up if you did, and come back for more. Love to have you. See ya.